What happens when a respected Oscar-winning actress walks onto a daytime talk show expecting a thoughtful conversation, only to feel like she's being cornered on live television by a host who won't let her finish a sentence? Make sure to subscribe to the Star Talks and like and comment for more talk show coverage. Whoopi leans forward slightly, hands folded, smiling in that familiar way that signals she's about to guide the room. All right, everyone, today we're thrilled to have Charlize Theron with us. You've seen her in everything from action to drama. You've produced, you've spoken openly about women in Hollywood, motherhood, power. So thank you for being here. Charlize nods, relaxed but alert. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. The audience applauds warmly. Sunny sits to Charlize's right, already glancing down at her notes. Joy watches quietly, chin tilted, while Sarah smiles and gives Charlize an encouraging look. Whoopi continues. You've been doing press for your new project, but you've also been pretty outspoken lately about how women are judged differently, especially when they're strong, opinionated, or don't apologize for it. Charlize smiles slightly. Yeah, it's not exactly new, but I think I'm at a point in my life where I don't feel the need to soften it anymore. Sunny jumps in quickly. But see, that's interesting, because when you say that, some people hear that as dismissive of women who don't have your level of privilege. There's a subtle shift in the room. Charlize turns towards Sunny, still calm. I'm not sure how speaking about my experience dismisses anyone else's. Sunny tilts her head. Well, you're a white, wealthy, powerful woman in Hollywood. When you talk about being judged, some would argue that your struggles are very different from, say, women of color or women without access. A murmur ripples through the audience. Charlize inhales, nods once. Of course they are different. I've never said they weren't. Sunny doesn't pause. But when you frame it as women are silenced, it can sound like you're equating your experience with everyone else's. Charlize opens her mouth to respond, but Sunny continues. And that's where some people feel uncomfortable. Whoopi raises a hand slightly. Hold on, Sunny, let her. Charlize gently lifts her own hand. No, it's okay. I hear what you're saying. She turns fully towards Sunny now, posture straight but voice even. I've spent years acknowledging my privilege. I talk about it constantly. But acknowledging privilege doesn't mean you stop speaking about inequality where you see it. Sunny's lips tighten. But do you see how that can come across as centering yourself? Charlize blinks, surprised, then lets out a short breath. I'm literally being asked questions about my own life. A few audience members clap softly. Sunny looks toward them, then back at Charlize. I'm just pushing back a little. This is a conversation. Charlize nods again, but her expression hardens just a fraction. And I welcome that. What I don't welcome is the assumption that because I'm successful, my voice should be quieter. Joy jumps in, laughing lightly. Well, nobody's asking you to be quiet. Charlize glances at Joy, then back to Sunny. It feels a bit like that. Sunny responds quickly. I'm not silencing you. I'm challenging you. Charlize leans forward slightly. Challenging is fine. Interrupting is different. The audience reacts with a sharper wave of sound. Some clapping, some gasps. Sarah's eyes widen. Whoopi looks between them. Sunny raises her eyebrows. I'm not interrupting you right now. Charlize pauses, then speaks slowly. You did earlier. Multiple times. There's a brief silence. You can feel the air tighten. Sunny crosses her arms. Okay, well, I apologize if it felt that way, but my job is to ask tough questions. Charlize nods. And my job is to answer them fully. Whoopi finally steps in, voice calm but firm. All right. Let's take a breath. She looks at Charlize. Finish your thought. Charlize exhales, grateful for the opening. Thank you. What I was trying to say is that conversations about inequality don't belong to only one group. If you care, you speak. If you see something wrong, you address it. That doesn't erase anyone else's struggle. Sunny shakes her head slightly. But sometimes listening is more important than speaking. Charlize responds immediately. I listen all the time. But today, I was invited here to talk. The audience lets out an audible ooh. Joy shifts in her seat. Sarah glances nervously at Whoopi. Sunny leans forward. And I'm talking with you. Charlize meets her gaze. Then let me finish a sentence. That lands harder. The audience claps louder now. Whoopi raises her hands again. Okay. Let's keep this respectful. Sunny looks momentarily stunned, blinking as if recalibrating. I don't think it's disrespectful to question power. Charlize nods once. It's disrespectful to assume intent. There's another pause. You can practically hear producers holding their breath. Sunny opens her mouth, then closes it, clearly choosing her next words carefully. So you're saying criticism isn't allowed? Charlize's tone softens, but the edge remains. I'm saying criticism works best when it comes from curiosity, not accusation. The audience applauds. Sarah nods emphatically. Joy murmurs, that's fair. Sunny glances toward Whoopi, then back to Charlize. I wasn't accusing you of anything. Charlize tilts her head. It felt that way. Sunny exhales sharply. Okay. Whoopi seizes the moment. Let's pivot just a bit, because I think what's happening here is actually what people at home experience all the time. Talking past each other instead of listening. The audience applauds again, relieved laughter breaking some of the tension. Whoopi continues. Charlize, you've been vocal about raising your kids in a way that challenges traditional norms. Does that play into why these conversations feel so personal for you? Charlize relaxes slightly, shoulders dropping. Absolutely. I think once you're responsible for shaping human beings, you get very serious about the world you're handing them. Sunny nods, calmer now. And that I agree with. But the energy has shifted. The tension hasn't disappeared. It's just gone quieter, simmering beneath polite smiles and measured responses. Charlize answers the next question thoughtfully, but her eyes flick back to Sunny more than once. Sunny listens, but her posture remains guarded. The audience senses it too. The easy warmth from the beginning of the segment hasn't fully returned. Something has cracked open, and everyone at the table knows it's not done yet. Charlize finishes her thought, hands resting lightly on the table. When you're raising kids, especially girls, you're constantly aware of what messages they're absorbing. Who gets to speak? Who gets believed? Who gets labeled difficult just for being direct? Sunny nods slowly, but her expression is still tight. And that's an important point. I don't disagree with that at all. Joy leans in, sensing an opening. But Sunny, I think what you were getting at earlier was about scale, right? About whose voices carry more weight. Sunny turns to Joy gratefully. Exactly. That's all I was saying. When someone with a massive platform speaks, it lands differently. Charlize shifts in her chair. I understand that. But I don't think the solution is telling people with platforms to stop talking. It's making sure more people get platforms. The audience claps again, louder this time. Whoopi smiles slightly. That's a good distinction. Sunny glances at the audience reaction, then back at Charlize. But you see how it can sound like, I have the answer, right? Charlize looks genuinely puzzled. I didn't say I have the answer. Sunny responds, but that's how it can be perceived. Charlize pauses, choosing her words carefully. Sunny, respectfully, perception depends a lot on what someone brings into the room. A few audience members gasp. Joy's eyebrows shoot up. Sarah presses her lips together. Sunny straightens. Are you saying I'm projecting? Charlize keeps her voice steady. I'm saying we all do sometimes. The audience reacts again, some clapping, some nervous laughter. Whoopi leans forward. Okay, let's not psychoanalyze each other. Sunny lets out a short laugh, but it doesn't reach her eyes. I'm not offended. I just think these conversations require accountability. Charlize nods. I agree. Accountability matters. But it has to go both ways. Sunny replies quickly. It does. Charlize continues, a little firmer now. Then let's be accountable about how we talk to each other, too. There's a beat. Sunny opens her mouth, then stops. She looks momentarily unsure, as if weighing whether to push or pull back. Whoopi fills the silence. I've been doing this a long time, and one thing I've learned is that live TV doesn't give you space to clarify everything. Joy chuckles. Ain't that the truth? Whoopi turns to Charlize. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like women are allowed to be angry in public spaces? Charlize doesn't hesitate. No, not comfortably. Not without consequences. Sunny interjects. But anger from privileged women is often received very differently. Charlize nods immediately. Absolutely. And that's part of the problem. Anger should be contextualized, not ranked. The audience claps again. Sarah finally speaks up. I think what people at home are seeing is two people who care deeply, but are coming at it from different angles. Sunny turns to Sarah. That's fair. Charlize smiles at Sarah appreciatively. Thank you. Joy jumps in, half joking. This is getting very serious for 10 in the morning. Light laughter ripples through the studio, easing the tension just a notch. Sunny looks back at Charlize. Let me ask you directly. Do you think criticism of you, specifically, is unfair? Charlize considers this. No. I think criticism is part of putting yourself out there. But I think tone matters. Sunny presses. So what about my tone? The question hangs in the air. The audience quiets, sensing the moment. Charlize answers honestly. It felt more like a challenge than a conversation. Sunny nods slowly. Because I was challenging you. Charlize meets her gaze. Then say that. Don't frame it as concern for others. A sharp intake of breath moves through the crowd. Whoopi's eyes widen slightly. Joy looks down at the table. Sunny's expression shifts, surprise, then defensiveness. I care deeply about others. That's not a frame. Charlize responds calmly but firmly. I believe you do. I just don't believe that means I can't speak. Sunny raises her voice just a little. No one said you couldn't. Charlize counters. The way you interrupted me suggested otherwise. Sunny shakes her head. We interrupt each other on this show all the time. Charlize replies, then let's call it what it is, part of the format. Not a moral judgment. The audience applauds again, louder, more sustained. Whoopi claps her hands once. All right, that's a fair point. Sunny exhales, clearly trying to reset. Okay, let's reset. Charlize nods. I'm happy to. There's a brief pause as everyone adjusts in their seats. The cameras linger a little longer than usual. Whoopi smiles. This is actually a good example of why people still watch live talk shows. You can't script this. The audience laughs and applauds. Whoopi continues. Charlize, you've talked before about being labeled difficult early in your career. Do you think moments like this reinforce that label for women? Charlize answers without hesitation. Yes, because when women hold their ground, it's seen as aggression. Sunny responds. But holding your ground doesn't mean you're above critique. Charlize nods. Agreed. And critique doesn't mean control the conversation. Sunny pauses, then says quietly, that's fair. It's the first clear concession. The audience notices and responds with supportive applause. Joy smiles. Progress. Sarah laughs. See, we're getting somewhere. Sunny looks at Charlize. I'm not trying to corner you. Charlize softens slightly. I know, but that's how it felt in the moment. Sunny nods again. Okay, I hear that. Whoopi leans back. This is what grown folks do. They talk it out. The tension hasn't vanished, but it's changed shape. It's less sharp, more reflective. Charlize answers a few more questions about her work, her kids, her advocacy, but there's an undercurrent now. Every exchange between her and Sunny is measured, careful, almost restrained. The audience senses it. They're leaning in, watching facial expressions, waiting for the next spark. And then Sunny says, almost casually, you know, some people watching might say you're getting defensive. Charlize turns slowly toward her. Some people might say that. Sunny presses. Are you? Charlize holds her gaze. I'm being clear. The audience reacts immediately, applause, murmurs, a few whistles. Sunny blinks, momentarily caught off guard again. Those aren't the same thing. Charlize replies evenly. They often get confused. Whoopi interjects quickly. All right, we're going to take a quick break. The audience groans and laughs at the same time. The camera pulls back slightly, but the energy stays charged. As the applause fades, Sunny looks down at her notes, jaw set. Charlize adjusts her mic, expression composed but eyes still sharp. Whatever just happened isn't over. And everyone in that room knows the next segment is going to pick up right where this left off. The cameras come back live, and the audience is buzzing. Whoopi leans forward, her voice steady but playful. Welcome back, everyone. Now, before the break, we had a little spirited discussion. Charlize, Sunny, are we ready to continue? Charlize smiles lightly. Absolutely. Sunny nods, a little tighter than before. Let's continue. Whoopi glances at the audience. All right, let's get into some of the bigger topics. Charlize, you've been very public about the challenges women face in Hollywood, especially when they speak up. Some people say that women like you get both praise and scrutiny for the exact same behavior. How do you navigate that? Charlize leans back, crossing her legs, her tone calm but firm. It's tricky. You learn quickly that speaking your mind will earn you labels. Sometimes it's strong. Sometimes it's difficult. And often, it depends entirely on who's watching and their own biases. Sunny leans forward. But Charlize, don't you think that sometimes the public scrutiny is valid? I mean, when you're in the spotlight, everything you say is dissected. Charlize tilts her head. I understand that, but I don't think public scrutiny gives anyone the right to speak over me or dismiss my perspective. That's what happened earlier. It's one thing to ask tough questions. It's another to frame them in a way that undermines me. The audience reacts audibly, some clapping, some murmuring in agreement. Whoopi raises her hand. Okay, let's remember we're here to have a conversation. Sunny exhales sharply but nods. I hear you. But this is exactly the dynamic people talk about when they say women in power are unapproachable. Charlize's eyes narrow just slightly, and her voice sharpens. And what about the women who are labeled unapproachable for simply asserting themselves? Where's the fairness there? Joy jumps in, trying to mediate. I think what Charlize is pointing out is that perception is tricky. People see what they expect to see, and that can make women's actions seem exaggerated. Sunny counters. But you have to admit that when a woman is as visible as Charlize, the stakes are higher. The margin for error is smaller. Charlize's smile is tight. Visibility doesn't mean silence. It means responsibility to speak truthfully, which I do. And yes, the stakes are higher, but that doesn't justify interrupting or dismissing me. The audience reacts again, applause and a few whistles. Sarah leans forward. I think people at home are seeing a real-time example of exactly what women face. Even when they're successful, they get questioned about how they handle confrontation. Sunny folds her arms. So you're saying the way I'm asking questions contributes to the problem? Charlize leans in slightly, voice measured but cutting. I'm saying the way you frame them can. There's a difference between curiosity and accusation, Sunny. A ripple runs through the audience. Whoopi nods, hands folded. Point taken. Sunny's jaw tightens. I'm just trying to have a conversation that includes all perspectives. Charlize fixes her gaze on Sunny, calm but unyielding. Then make sure all perspectives are heard, including mine. That's all I'm asking. There's a beat of silence, and the audience leans in. The tension is palpable. Joy breaks it with a soft chuckle. This is why we love live TV, isn't it? Sarah adds, smiling nervously. And why people get nervous watching. Charlize laughs lightly, but her eyes remain sharp. It's real, that's all. We're talking about real things, and they matter. Sunny nods slowly, voice quieter now. I didn't mean to make it personal. Charlize replies evenly. It felt personal. And when it does, it undermines the conversation. Whoopi gestures toward both of them. All right, let's pivot a little. Charlize, let's talk about your recent advocacy work. Speaking out about equality, mentorship, and systemic change. How does that work intersect with the scrutiny you get in the public eye? Charlize relaxes a bit. It's constant. But I've realized that being visible also gives me the chance to amplify other voices, to make space for people who don't get asked about their experiences. That's the work I want to focus on. Sunny interrupts gently. But some people might feel that your platform overshadows theirs. Charlize turns to her, voice steady but pointed. Then the solution is not to silence me, Sunny. The solution is to create more platforms for others. That's how we change the system, not by discouraging people from speaking. Audience members murmur in agreement. A few clap. Joy nods appreciatively. That's a strong point. Sunny leans back slightly, taking a breath. Okay, I hear that. But what about when public perception paints your confidence as arrogance? Charlize smiles faintly. Then we challenge that perception. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's asserting your right to exist fully in your space. And women are often criticized for that in ways men aren't. The audience reacts audibly, some cheering softly. Sarah leans forward. Exactly, people at home, this is the nuance. It's not about dismissing critique. It's about understanding where it comes from and how it's applied unevenly. Sunny exhales again. All right, I can see that perspective. Charlize nods once. Good. That's all I wanted, to be seen, to be heard. Whoopi leans back in her chair. This is exactly why discussions like this matter. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's real. Joy laughs lightly. Uncomfortable is one word for it. Charlize smiles slightly, but there's an edge of fatigue in her expression. It's worth it. If people take away even a fraction of what we're talking about, it's worth it. The camera pans across the audience, capturing nods, murmurs of agreement, and a few people whispering to each other. The tension has eased a bit, but hasn't disappeared entirely. The energy is now more reflective than confrontational. Sunny looks at Charlize, voice softer. I think I understand now. It's not about stopping the conversation. It's about how we conduct it. Charlize meets her gaze. Exactly. The audience applauds again, this time with a mix of relief and appreciation. Whoopi smiles, hands folded. We're getting somewhere. Let's keep going. Charlize takes a breath, preparing for the next question. I think the important thing here is that women can be outspoken, unapologetic, and still listen. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. Sunny nods, quieter now. Agreed. Joy leans in, almost whispering to Charlize. You're handling this masterfully. Charlize smiles faintly. Thanks. It's live TV, Joy. That's all. The audience laughs lightly. Whoopi claps her hands once. All right, we've unpacked a lot. But there's more to talk about, and we're not done yet. Stay with us. The cameras pull back slightly as the segment continues, but the tension is simmering in the background. Charlize answers more questions about her advocacy, her work, and her experiences in Hollywood, always measured, always direct. Sunny contributes, more careful now, choosing her words with precision. The energy in the room is thick but constructive. The audience leans in with every exchange, sensing that this is a rare, authentic conversation. A real-time example of power, perception, and the difficulties women face, even when they're successful. And it's clear to everyone watching, both in the studio and at home, that the conversation is far from over. The cameras return after a short commercial break. Whoopi smiles warmly at the audience. Welcome back. We've had a pretty intense conversation so far, haven't we? Charlize, Sunny, thank you for sticking with it. Charlize nods. Of course. It's important. Sunny exhales, visibly more composed. Yeah, it's been enlightening. Whoopi leans forward. Now, let's wrap this up with a look at what comes after these conversations. Charlize, you've been open about the pressures of public life. How do you process moments like this after the cameras stop rolling? Charlize shifts slightly, expression softening. Honestly, it's a mix. Part of me feels drained because live TV compresses everything, emotions, tensions, misunderstandings, into a few minutes. But the other part feels hopeful. Hopeful that the discussion sparks reflection, maybe even change. Sunny nods. I can relate to that. It's uncomfortable, but I think that's where growth happens. Joy leans in. And audiences at home see it too. Social media is already buzzing. Charlize raises an eyebrow. Oh, I've seen it. People are definitely talking. Sarah smiles. Some are supporting, some are critiquing. It's the usual mix, right? Charlize chuckles softly. Exactly. And that's fine. I can handle it. What matters is the message that's being communicated. Whoopi gestures broadly. And what about the immediate aftermath in the studio? Everyone here has felt the tension. Charlize nods. It's palpable for sure. But once we step off camera, there's a level of debriefing and reflection that's necessary. You recognize what escalated, what could have gone differently, and you learn from it. Sunny exhales, a little more relaxed. Yeah, and it also makes you think about how you phrase your questions, how you're perceived. It's a learning experience. The audience murmurs, some nodding in agreement. Joy smiles. I think that's what makes these conversations so valuable. People at home are witnessing an authentic exchange where accountability and understanding matter more than winning. Charlize adds, exactly. And I hope it encourages women, anyone really, to speak their truth while still listening. There's a balance, and it's worth striving for. Whoopi glances at the audience. And the reaction outside the studio has been intense, hasn't it? Charlize nods. Absolutely. Social media lights up immediately. Some comments are supportive, some are critical, some are downright harsh. But it's all part of the dialogue. Sunny leans back, reflecting. I've seen threads where people discuss the importance of tone and framing. I think that's productive. That's the kind of conversation I want to contribute to. Charlize smiles faintly. And I respect that. It's all about the dialogue, not personal attacks. Joy chimes in, nodding. It's rare to see a real, unfiltered conversation on daytime TV. People notice when it's authentic. Sarah adds, absolutely. Viewers respond to authenticity. It resonates. Whoopi shifts in her seat. So, after the cameras stop, after the social media frenzy, what's next for you, Charlize? Charlize leans forward, voice calm and resolute. Keep speaking, keep advocating, keep working on the projects that matter. And remember that these moments, even tense ones, are opportunities to clarify, to educate, and to inspire. Sunny nods slowly. And I'll be thinking about how I ask my questions, how to challenge without undermining. It's a good reminder for all of us in the spotlight. The audience claps, some standing, some waving their hands. There's a palpable sense of closure, but also respect for what just unfolded. Whoopi looks at both of them. This is what daytime TV is at its best. It's messy, it's real, and it's educational. People at home saw two strong women, differing opinions, and a genuine effort to understand one another. Charlize smiles. Exactly. And I hope that's what sticks with people. Sunny adds. And I hope it reminds viewers that even in disagreement, respect is possible. Joy leans back, laughing lightly. Well, you two made it work. And the audience definitely felt that tension and the resolution. Sarah glances at Charlize and Sunny. I think people watching at home saw growth. They saw honesty. And they saw what happens when we let conversations happen in real time, without scripts. Charlize nods. And that's the essence of meaningful dialogue. Whoopi turns to the audience. All right, everyone. That wraps up our segment with Charlize Theron. Let's give her a big round of applause. The audience erupts with applause and cheers. Charlize stands, waving to the crowd. Sunny smiles, nodding in acknowledgement. Joy and Sarah clap enthusiastically. As the cameras begin to pan away, Charlize leans towards Sunny. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate it. Sunny smiles, a hint of relief in her expression. Thank you for your honesty. It really makes a difference. Whoopi concludes the segment with her signature warmth. All right, everyone. That's our show for today. Remember, these conversations don't stop when the cameras go off. The dialogue continues online, in your communities, and right here at home. The audience continues to cheer as the credits begin to roll. Charlize exits the stage, waving and smiling. Social media instantly lights up. Tweets, Instagram stories, TikTok clips, all dissecting, praising, and debating the exchange. Hashtags trend, conversations spark, and media outlets highlight the rare, authentic tension and resolution witnessed on live TV. Sunny heads back to the green room, taking notes, reflecting on the discussion. She posts a thoughtful comment on her social media, acknowledging the conversation and emphasizing the importance of respectful dialogue. Joy shares a quick video clip praising Charlize for her candor. Sarah posts a behind-the-scenes photo of the hosts, hinting at the intensity and respect that define the segment. Meanwhile, Charlize returns home, scrolling through the social media reactions. She smiles, taking in the messages of support, constructive critique, and honest discourse. She posts a heartfelt note about the importance of listening while speaking, of using platforms responsibly, and of embracing challenging conversations. Back in the studio, the producers debrief. Everyone agrees that this episode is already sparking conversations online, that the tension and resolution were real, and that the segment will likely be remembered as one of the more authentic exchanges of the season. Whoopi addresses the team. Remember, this is why we do what we do. Real talk, real people, real reactions. That's our purpose. The camera fades to the studio lights dimming, the audience still buzzing. And as viewers at home continue to debate, analyze, and share clips, the final word from the Star Talks is clear. These conversations matter, they evolve, and they inspire dialogue. Make sure to share your opinion in the comments, and subscribe to the Star Talks for more real talk show stories.